Hi everyone, welcome back to CEEL Movie Recaps. Today I am going to recap a 2023 movie called All That Glitters. The movie opens to a guy called Chuck's arguing and almost fighting with a tricycle driver about a misunderstanding and incomplete transport fare. Chuck's girlfriend Barcira, whom he came to see without enough transport fare, came and rescues him. Barcira feeds and supports Chuck's, who is unemployed and living off his girlfriend's generosity. Barcira is always excited to speak to Chuck's, even when is about him asking her for money most of the time. Ife, who is both Barcira's friend and roommate, doesn't approve of her relationship with Chuck's. She thinks that Chuck's extorts her, and when she was asked to transfer money to him, she vehemently refused. Barcira explains that she has the cash and will hand it to her if she does the transfer, but she still refuses. Barcira, who is blinded by love, doesn't seem to understand where her friend is coming from. Chuck's pays her girlfriend a surprise visit by watering her fish pond, but she came around and told him that he didn't have to, but he insists. Barcira locked her friend out of the room to have a private moment with Chuck's, and this leaves her really angry. Their apartment only has one bedroom, and this left Ife in the living room feeling infuriated. Chuck's gets a call from a travel agent that tells him that he could get a US visa for $5 million. His excitement was short-lived because he knows he couldn't afford it. He went ahead to give the information to his girlfriend, who felt the same, who is the breadwinner of the relationship at her shop. Chuck's informs her that he told her because he doesn't want to keep anything from her and not to make her worry, since they both know that they couldn't afford it. All she asks is if the money was to be gotten somehow, if Chuck's will like to travel, and he said yes. Barcira confided in her friend about the problem she is facing, and her friend advises her not to make it her problem and not overinvest in a man because it always ends up badly. Barcira is seen inquiring from a bank daily contributor agent how to get a loan of $5 million from her bank, and she told her that it is impossible for someone like her. Chuck's overhears this and got angry with her for going against his wishes of trying to get the money when he told her specifically not to worry. Barcira couldn't sleep where she was thinking of how to get the money. The next thing we see is Barcira handing a check of $5 million to Chuck's. Chuck's is near tears excited, and when he inquired where his girlfriend got the money, she brushes it off that she will tell him later. Ife got word of what her friend did and went off on her about how she sold her lands and food shop just to raise $5 million for a man. Barcira tries to justify her actions by saying that her boyfriend will come for her once he is settled in the US, and they will get married and live happily ever after. Chuck's calls his girlfriend and informs her that he has safely landed in the US. This makes her beam with excitement, and they start chatting about airport food and weather and how he should take care of himself with the things she packed for him. As reality kicks in, Barcira is left with the dilemma of what to do with her life now that she has sold all her inheritance and livelihood. She started off by asking for her friend's forgiveness since went against her advice and made away with all her assets, and was happy when she forgives her. Next, she suggests to her friend that she wishes to start hawking her food products since she no longer has a shop to sell them in. Ife explains the risks involved in hawking things on the streets, like being run over by a car and all that, but she insists on doing it anyway. Contrary to what Ife thinks, Barcira sold all her merchandise at her first outing. When asked what they were going to eat, Barcira joked about it and walked away. The next time she talked to Chuck's, she got interrupted by a lady, and before she could get the chance to ask who she was, the line went dead for some reason and wouldn't connect back. This leaves her in the worst state and with a lot of questions, but luckily for her, she has her friend by her side to console her and of course to tell her "I told you so." She gets hit by a car in the line of duty. Luckily for Barcira, the driver Dennis took responsibility and tended to her wounds and even brought her home, but she was in a fuming state. Barcira has her friend doing the texting to Chuck's, but still no response came. Ife tries to reason that maybe Chuck's blocked her number or doesn't want to be reached on purpose. Barcira continued to be hostile to Dennis for some reason, even when all he does is try to be nice to her because he feels responsible for her injuries. Ife explains that she couldn't take her friend to her physiotherapy appointment because of a meeting she couldn't shift, but that Dennis will be there to help her. Slowly, Barcira started warming up to Dennis after he took her to one of her appointments and bought her delicious food. They chatted for a while and he went ahead and massaged her feet and they chatted some more. He suggested to her to set up an online booking of food where her clients can list what they require and she can take her time to deliver them instead for hawking, and she promised to think about the idea. Barcira goes to discuss the idea with her friend and she could sense the connection between the two lovebirds as they have gone from hostility to sharing ideas. Aoife is happy that Barcira is beginning to let go of the feelings she has for Chucks and allowing herself to be happy again with Dennis. They chatted for a while as Barcira went ahead to narrate the day she had with Dennis. Barcira went ahead to give the booking thing a trial and was amazed by the number of calls and requests she received on such short notice. People can't get enough of her food. People kept calling with their request, even the ones with outrageous demands. She was left with no option than to call Dennis for help, and he came rushing to her aid. Things with Dennis and Barcira continues to grow and they continue to enjoy each other's company. Dennis has shown that he really cares about her by numerous gestures, including her makeover, and she seems to be reciprocating the feeling. He went ahead and invited her to his house where she planned to cook for her and prophesied his love for her. She was taken aback when she heard him say "I love you" to her. Though she didn't reply right away, she confided in her friend that she feels the same for Dennis. She was begging to forget Chucks and moving on with her life. The next day, as Dennis came by to help Barcira with her food packaging as usual, she told him she loves him and he was happy to receive the news of her feeling. Chucks didn't find a worse time to show up than when things started being rosy again for his former girlfriend. He shows up to her doorstep, leaving her in awe and anger. When he began to speak, we noticed he has developed a perfect American accent, happens only in Nollywood. He explains that he was sent to prison with his roommate and his girlfriend. That was the woman Barcira saw, and when they got raided, that was when the line went dead and never reconnected. Once, Aoife is one of the best friends anyone can ask for. She has proven this by having her friends back all the time. She is always available whenever she needs her and readily available to support her. On the other hand, Barcira decided to take a route that was surprising and weird. She continues to go on dates discreetly with the two parties. She notices that she enjoys more of Dennis's company more than the one who developed a perfect American accent in such short notice, even though Chucks didn't betray her like she originally thought, and in addition he went through a lot in the US. She felt only pity for him because, truth be told, the feeling she had for him took a decline for a while now. She excuses herself to take Chuck's calls when she is with Dennis and goes right back to enjoy more moments with him. She then decided to open up with Chucks about how she has fallen out of love with him. He was heartbroken but accepted her decision and let her concentrate on her happiness. She then decided to focus on the love she has for Dennis and see where that takes her. Just like every Nollywood movie, as Chucks and Barcira parted ways painfully, her friend then took back all her words against Chucks as she then realizes that he is indeed a good man for the singular act of putting Barcira's happiness over his own. Dennis's ex-girlfriend shows up in his house claiming not having anywhere else to stay, and Dennis decided to harbor her in his house without informing his girlfriend. Dennis informs his girlfriend about his business meeting he will be taking some time to attend. Meanwhile, in his house, his ex-girlfriend starts flirting with Dennis with anything and everything, cooking, dressing provocatively, and bringing him late-night wine stakeout, and to top it up she faints in his presence, all in the name of enticing him. When she noticed that all her antics were in vain, she cooked up a lie that she is sick to get sympathy from Dennis and lure him back to her even after being intimate with her boss, and was caught by Dennis. Went to the extent of pretending to be Dennis's woman when Barcira visited, throwing all sorts of insults at her, and this devastated her. Dennis got word about what she did, threw her out of his house, immediately dragging her by the neck. He didn't want to listen to anything she had to say. After all the commotion with his ex-girlfriend, Dennis sought after Barcira, though her roommate and friend, because she started ignoring his calls and made herself scarce. Dennis met up with Aoife and he explained everything that happened to her, and she promised to help him reconcile with Barcira, and they arranged a meeting, and unbeknownst to Barcira, Dennis was present where the two friends were spending quality time. As they met up, Dennis apologized and they made up after small shakara from the side of Barcira. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more contents like this. Also, you can leave us the name of the movie you will like us to recap for you in the comment section. Thank you for watching.